Happy New Year and welcome back to the Tucker and Crowley Report. I'm with Franklin Tucker, Senior Editor of the Belmontonian, and I am Mike Crowley. So first up in the news, let's talk about the town budget. Franklin, what can you tell us?
Well, after listening to and attending meetings of the select board and the school committee, it appears that both sides have met the aspirational percentages that the select board had asked for both towns and the schools, for both town and schools. And it's 2.5% for the town, and it's 5.8% for, or 5.6% for the schools. And it's a bit of a surprise because the schools were very adamant and that they were looking for a much higher percentage increase. Back in December 3rd, when we had our first draft budget, they were looking at an 8.7%, and they said this is something that we really need to continue to move forward in both our curriculum and in the way we want to how the future is going to look like for the schools.
And I also know, Franklin, that there was deep concern about cuts, including to some of the positions that have been funded by temporary ARPA money.
That's right.
Like for social workers and other classroom assistants, and so tell me what the school district has done to come in line with
where are the rejections coming from their aspirational 8.7%. Well, in one way, they're going to they're saying that their first projections in terms of tuition for special ed, which it turned out which is nearly $10 million, they're going to take a slice of about $210,000 off of that, off of the tuition. They think that they can survive on that and use the circuit breaker in case there is in case they they do need money. So that's a good portion of what they were looking at. And then there were things like the real things, the real cuts came in terms of, and these are all possible reductions.
So they've not been voted yet.
This is a draft report.
Okay.
When the final budgets are coming out, it will be in March, and that's but these are drafts, and they're at the numbers that both the town and schools. The select board back in November said 5.8%. That's what you're going to get. And so the schools have come down to that. So so there's going to be a reduction in like a campus monitor, a computer specialist, additional extra comps for stipends, for teachers to do, extracurricular sports. Sorry about that. They are restoring a library aide position.
Okay.
But if you want to go into details, it's right now, and these are again possible reductions. One teacher, hasn't been specified. It's going to be enrollment driven. But there's going to be one second grade teacher, 2 fifth grade teachers, technology specialists, like I said, a campus monitor. But we have our first extracurricular that is going to be no longer done.
And what is that, Franklin?
And that is going to be the ski team. And the reason why is they said, if you look at the ski team, they have a lot of extra, you have to do a lot of things to get the ski team up and running. And that includes busing, transportation. You've got to have monitors, how long they're on the slopes. There's a lot of things that you add on. It's not like, the soccer team, buy some balls and send them out to Harris Field. So that's $30,000. Now they didn't say, they said this is just, our first look at it. And they said certainly if you can find fundraising of $30,000, then you can save that. And I think that's what they're trying to do. They're kind of give a hint and a nudge to the ski team supporters, and things like that. So there's extra cuts, especially it's coming down to stipends.
Okay.
There's $100,000 that would be going to teachers or people who are like assistant coaches and stuff like that, and also all those cuts will have a benefit savings of $120,000. So there you go. And so that's where the money's coming from.
Okay, let me ask Franklin, on the town side. So it's not all wine and roses on the town side either, is it?
No, when they did all their calculations a couple of weeks ago, having brought in all the town departments, they found that they were $500,000 short. So what they did is they started doing what Matt Taylor, select board member Matt Taylor, said, and that is we want to hit singles. We don't want to take a big portion out of one department or things like that. So a lot of things like the library is sacrificing their own maintenance person, so they're going to use facilities and the DPW to take out the trash and things like that. Fees are going to go up, and the departments such as the fire department, Chief DeStefano has always been somebody who always is looking to increase revenue. So those are the things that they're looking at. So it wasn't a big. So they hit their 2.5%. Now this seems to be a good year to have everybody have a certain amount of money that they can go to, because next year both the town and the schools are going to have big contracts that they're going to have to consider. So there's going to be a lot of money that is going to be expended, and we have an override account, and they're looking to beef that up. It looks like this is the year that it looks like there's not going to be any kind of disputes, and there's not going to be any kind of woe is me kind of talk. The schools basically accepted what the select board said, a 5.8% increase.
Okay, Franklin, should we move on then to so I want to mention that there have been some restrictions this year on cell phones in the high school. Now we have an update on the extent to which people are happy or not with how this is going.
Sure, Belmont has a new cell phone ban and headphone and any kind of other device that you can do on the internet. It prohibits it in class. You can still have it at lunch and at free periods, but in the classroom you have to put your cell phone in a hotel. Basically, it's a cubby or whatever. And this is not something new. I mean, Belmont is kind of on the back end of this. Other communities have had this for either a year or two. It's found to be all the evidence so far has found it to be beneficial. Whether in the United States they've done a study that schools are much quieter. People are focusing on the work, and also there was a Norwegian study that said that that it reduces bullying. It has the kids who use less cell phones at school. They have less trips to doctors for mental health issues. And there are some countries like the UK considering a complete ban. Kids cannot go on the internet, on social media, up to the age of 16. So Belmont is trailing a little bit. So we have the benefit of knowing what are the impacts of a cell phone ban. Now what happened was Principal Isaac Taylor said that he sent out a pretty comprehensive survey.
This is towards students or staff or
staff, and then they had a split between parents and students.
Okay.
And upwards to almost 740 parents and students replied, and 87 staff. And the staff is overwhelmingly, they supported. They're saying that just a great. It just makes their life a lot easier, and they're seeing it, and also the students are much more involved. In the past, you'd have students just like have a cell phone right on the top of their desk, so that's not. So that's gone,
Mm-hmm.
and 85% said we love it, and then there's another other 10% who said it's okay. Among students, it's a little less. 84%, 34% said this is a good thing. 37% said it's okay, and about 12% said it's a terrible thing to do. Among parents, it's like you would expect. 50% say it has a very important impact. They do like it. Only 7% of the parents say no, and those parents are the ones who want to be in contact with their students because of because of other reasons, like there's a medical issue or things like that. Now, I like some of the comments. One comment said, one staff member said he had to be honest, his wife hates the idea because she can't send him, she can't send him like pet memes. But he says, I'm okay with that. Now there are ways.
Don't tell the wife.
There are students who are getting around it, and
Mm-hmm.
I think one is they're wearing earbuds and putting a knit cap over it, so you
Mm-hmm.
can't see them. You can get to your iPhone through your computer, and
Apple Watches.
There you go. That's what you can get. You can get an Apple Watch, and you can just get all your notices right on your wrist.
Now, does the ban or the set of restrictions apply to Apple Watches or cellular-enabled Apple Watches?
I don't know, but that they're saying that is what some students are doing. They're looking at their Apple Watch, so the outcome of this new policy has been overwhelmingly supportive. I think when you have students in a highly thought of school system like Belmont, those students understand that this isn't it's not punitive. It's a way of enhancing education, so they're supportive. It's like you see, 34% say they like it, 37% say it's okay. So you almost have 2/3 right there that say they can live with it.
All right, Franklin. So up next, a sports update.
Yes, very quickly, the sports season, the winter season is underway. We have undefeated girls ice hockey team. They're going to have a big match. They're going to have a big meet on Saturday against Arlington. Boys hockey, I believe they have 1 or 2 losses, and they're very very competitive with every match that they play. Girls basketball is 4-3, and there's going to be basketball night on Friday. So come to the Warner Fieldhouse. Unfortunately, the boys basketball team, not so well. They're looking for their first win. Maybe they can get it on Friday against Woburn. We have a great wrestling team. I think I don't know if we talked about wrestling, but they're competitive with some teams that they've never been competitive with. They have a large number, almost 50 kids coming out for wrestling.
So they're doing really well this year.
We have really well. We have a young man in the 150, 160 pound range who is just outstanding, and he looks like he's going to be on the state. He's going to be in the divisional playoffs. And we have 2 young women who at the Brendan Grant meet, which was last Saturday, both winning first place prizes, and they look like one is a defending state champion in Division I, and the other one is just becoming much better. And both of them, one's named Ava and one's named Eva. So they're both of them look like they're going to be competitors for state championships.
All right, Franklin. So as is customary, as we're entering a new year here on the Tucker and Crowley Report, we like to hear Franklin's predictions for the coming year. Franklin,
I thought we could start with you.
Well, let's hear yours first, and then maybe we'll talk about mine.
Well, we're going to have competitive races in the town election. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to, and as we were talking about today, it doesn't look like we're going to have much in terms of a budget. This new budget system, and we were talking about it last year, how early it starts.
Mhm.
It looks like it's doing pretty well right now, at least in a year where there's not a large money component facing it, such as next year,
Mhm.
and when we're looking at all these contracts that are coming due. So it looks like it was a success. Town meeting is always fun, but right now there is no one who's put in a citizen petition, which is surprising. Um,
And what is the deadline for that, Franklin? Isn't it coming up pretty quickly here?
I don't know, sometime in January. So I don't know.
I think it might be
If
January
if
12th,
yes,
but,
I
but I might be off by a day or two.
I believe that that people who want to put in a citizens petition, they really know the date. So it'll be fun to find out who actually puts one in,
Okay.
other than the ones that are sticklers about spelling and things like that. I believe that this year we'll also see some real movement towards capital budget requests. We'll also see.
Franklin, can I ask, do you mean by that we're going to have some big items?
There's a chinery roof that has to be done. And we're going to see how responsive the town is towards towards capital budget items. I know that we heard for the last 2 years, especially when the override was happening, people saying we have to be cognizant about these long-term needs,
Mhm.
and we have to do it. This is not a situation where we can just fluff off the roof. We have to bite the bullet on these, and we'll see how well the town is, or town meeting is, in terms of working towards these. So that's going to be very important. We know that maybe we can solve the problems of commercial space through Donald Trump's acquiring Greenland. You think that Belmont?
So Belmont can get in on the act and annex a portion of the big island.
Right, and maybe right out of Nook, right outside of the capital, we could have
We'll call it Belmont North.
Right, yeah, they're very, very good. I like that, and then we can solve our problems.
Okay, Franklin. Well, you covered exactly my predictions.
Oh, really? You thought of the same thing, Greenland. I would think that maybe we could get a bit of a fee for one of the locks over in the Panama Canal when we take it over, when the United States takes it over. Or maybe we could also do something like, we can have Donald Trump come to Belmont and change Clay Pit Pond to USA Pond or something like that.
Okay, Franklin.
The Gulf of Clay Pit.
Okay, so that's what's to come in the coming year, and we'll see if it happens. I want to remind viewers that any opinions and comments made on this program are solely those of myself and Franklin Tucker, and do not represent those of the Belmont Media Center, the town of Belmont, or Comcast or Verizon.
But you can make sure that you can place a bet on that Greenland prediction. It's coming true.
All right, we'll do that, Franklin. All right, so thank you, Franklin. And as always, you can find more of Franklin's reporting at belmontonian.com. And be sure to tune in next time, and we will see you then.